Mm, There we go. Okay, so here we are. So I would just like to welcome everybody here today. Thank you so much for joining this latest edition of Sharing Soroptimist Stories. And I just heard from Darlene. This is actually our 13th Sharing Soroptimist Stories calls in the last 4 years, which is great. Oh, it looks like our other panelist is here now, so that is fantastic. Uh, just 1 second here. Um,
Where am I?
can't get her. Here we go. There we are. Now everybody's here. That's fantastic. So yeah, this is our 13th Sharing Soroptimist Stories. And this is amazing that we have so many people who have signed up to join us today. So I am speaking from the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish First Nations, which include the shared traditional territories of the Coquitlam, Tsleil-Waututh, Katzie, Musqueam, and Squamish nations. Many of you on this call today are joining us from the traditional territories, both treatied and unceded, of many Indigenous peoples. As we begin our work today, let us acknowledge and respect the Indigenous peoples of all the lands on which we have a presence. Let us reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to the protection of the land which we call home. Let us acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and present, and let us consider how we can each, in our own way, move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I'm delighted to have you all here with us today to discuss two very important property redevelopment projects that are currently underway, Soroptimist House and Southwynd Place. Now, before we get going, I'd like to welcome our panelists. First, we have three members of the SI Vancouver Redevelopment Committee. Redevelopment Committee Chair Carla Busnardo. Want to give us a wave? Thanks, Carla. Redevelopment Committee Member Janet Law and Redevelopment Committee Treasurer Lenore Riddell. Friends, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background and your Soroptimist journey. So, Lenore, why don't you go first?
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Lenore Riddell. I'm a retired nurse practitioner. My passion has always been increasing access to healthcare for women, and in particular, women who have multiple barriers. I've been part of Soroptimist since, let me think, 2017, 1 year before you, Janet. So, and that's me.
Great, thank you. Janet, how about you?
Hi, so pleased to be here and so welcoming with our global family. I just want to give you all a cheer for wanting to be part of this friendship call. I started in Soroptimist in 2018, and I came as an invitation from a friend, although I had been invited many years before in my 20s, which was a long time before that, but it turned out 2018 was the right year. And I'd actually gone to a wonderful awards ceremony, and I was greeted by Lenore at the door. I remember that, and she was so loving and I would say just very hospitable. I really appreciated that. So my mandate always has been for the education and empowerment of women and girls. And I work in healthcare as well at the end of prenatal and postnatal care. But I also have a passion for housing and have always seen the importance of just me, shelter, clothing, um, places for women to live. And so I was so excited to be able to be part of the redevelopment team. So again, so pleased to be here today.
Thank you so much, Janet. And finally, Carla Busnardo.
Good morning, everyone. Um, I've been a member of Soroptimist since 1992, longer than some of you have been on this earth. And oh my goodness, really, I've been a Soroptimist for most of my life. And I've got so many, I'm so spoiled. So my dad was building apartment buildings in Vancouver in the 50s. So I've got a different sort of look at what we can do with buildings and I use him and I engage him in all this work that we do. So I had that a different insight on what we could do if we could redevelop. And lucky for me, the boards that were prior to us right now were entertained by my enthusiastic encouragement to do something, to redevelop, or don't just let it sit there. So I've had sort of lots of different help to encourage the boards to consider going forward. And it's been over 15 years of encouraging for this one part. And I'm quite thrilled to see that it's coming to fruition. It's so exciting. And thank you very much for having us here today. And here we go.
Awesome. Well, we're delighted that you could all join us. And we also have with us Annelise van der Veen, who is the Manager of Strategic Projects with Purpose-Driven Development, the developer of SI Vancouver's two housing projects. Annelise, would you like to share a bit about yourself with everyone? And do you want to start sharing the slide deck?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just get that pulled up. Does that look right?
Yep, we've got it. So you can probably
Great. I'll just skip ahead a few. The lovely redevelopment committee ladies, who I have to say always has just been the absolute highlight of my work with Soroptimist on these projects, is these three women right here. So I'm always so pleased to be able to co-present and share about the work we do together. My name is Annelise van der Veen. It's such a pleasure to be here and share more about these two amazing, incredible, groundbreaking projects in Vancouver. My background is actually in urban planning, and prior to that, I did my original studies in anthropology. So the global nature of the call is also amazing to me to be on here. And I really, through my master's in urban planning, fell in love with housing and specifically affordable housing. And I really was passionate like that. I found that as my passion, and I really wanted to chase that and see housing get delivered. So to actually work with groups who are looking to actually deliver, own, and operate housing for the long term, especially when affordability is intertwined. So I've been with Purpose Driven for the last 6 years or so, and really Soroptimist House has been, the career-making project for me. It's where I've learned the most in terms of housing development in this current career that I'm in, and again, it's just been such an incredible pleasure to work on this project. And as we talk about the vision, I think, it's the project's also been such a great mentorship opportunity for so many women, at my stage in my career across the city in industries. So I'm excited to talk about that as well. And Purpose Driven Development is a women-founded and led real estate development firm in Vancouver. We're a conscientious experience team of real estate development professionals, and we work with nonprofits, First Nations, churches, and other institutions and organizations, basically anyone who owns land in community ownership. And our goal is really to deliver successful mixed-use, mixed-income, affordable housing for communities so that everyone can thrive. And so we're really chasing that delivery of inclusive prosperity, whatever that may mean to the specific community that we're working with. So the approach we take, I say overall, is really like aiming to be partners in each community's long-term health and prosperity, not just development managers. And I think our longstanding, work and relationship with Soroptimist International of Vancouver is a great showcase and highlight of that. And it's, again, just amazing always to be able to share the story alongside the outstanding committee here on the call.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annelise. And now, if we could just have Darlene Jameson, our Western Canada Region Friendship Chair, who's going to go over some housekeeping announcements.
Greetings, Soroptimists and friends from around the world. We welcome you here, and if you haven't already done so, please indicate where in the world you're calling from. If you are a Soroptimist, could you please share which club you're connected with? You can include the country and federation, and also to our guests. And if there's if there's a title that's connected to your club, let us know. And that if you haven't already done so, please mute yourself. And there will be an opportunity for questions later in the program. And welcome everyone. And on with the program.
Thank you very much, Darlene. Oh, the call is being recorded for those of you who joined a little bit late. So if you don't wish to have your photo shared, please turn your camera off just in case.
Thanks.
Okay. Go. Okay. Thank you so much, Darlene. So, Annelise, why don't you start off by telling us a bit more about the vision behind Soroptimist House?
Absolutely. Thank you, Shari. So the powerful and unique vision of Soroptimist House, which is this phenomenally beautiful looking building in front of you all, is housing for women delivered by a team of women. So this project is not only providing affordable homes for women at all stages of life, it's also highlighting and showcasing the expertise and leadership of rockstar women professionals at the top of their career from the design, development, engineering, and construction industries. The vision for this project emerged out of Soroptimist International of Vancouver's mandate, mission, and a pre-existing building on the site, and in partnership with our team at Purpose Driven, identifying an opportunity to expand and build on this existing, long-standing mandate in Vancouver and showcase women professionals across industries that are really historically male-dominated. Soroptimist House is the first development project in Western Canada, potentially the first in North America, that is being developed, designed, and delivered by a team composed entirely of highly qualified women. And the architecture of this project itself, I also want to take a moment to speak to because it really is what reflects the mandate of the project. And again, the history and work that Soroptimist International of Vancouver has done in Vancouver for the last 100 years. The for women and by women is intended to be represented by the feminine-inspired design for this building with organic, flowing, wavy lines that are standing out in our skyline today. I used to say they will stand out in our skyline, and we were all excited to see it. But I'm so excited to share that it is coming together, and you can see the curves just off of Cambie and 13th in Vancouver. And it's every time I go by, it's an incredible, incredible sight to see.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, did you know there you go.
Nope, sorry. That was weird. It's an incredible sight to see as you drive by or walk by this site in Vancouver. And our team had worked with an incredible architects, GBL architects in Vancouver, on a simple building floor plate for the building itself. We wanted to maximize the square footage to optimize as many homes being delivered on this site as possible. It is quite a large building on a small infill site in the city. But the way that we're showing and showcasing design is really through the balconies. So the balconies were how we were able to express the vision. And there's also some really incredible purposeful spaces within the building designed for social connection and community building, which came through, as you'll see later, through the priorities set out by the redevelopment committee for the project vision. And this is really important to ensure all residents have access to outdoor space and to keep a portion of the top floor, especially for shared amenity space and access by all residents, both in an indoor amenity and an outdoor amenity patio. So all residents will have access as well to these incredible views from the 13th floor. Not only is this building creating a legacy in its mandate, but through approvals with the local municipality, it was actually commented that we're also creating a legacy of design for the area. So this project is just hitting many, many milestones throughout its delivery and construction, and through providing affordable homes for women. And with that, I'll turn it over to Carla to share more about where this all came from.
All right, where we came from. Holy cow, I'm so excited. So here we have, this is a picture of the building that was. So as far back as the early 30s, the members supported and supplied affordable housing for women. So it's quite amazing that look how far we've come and we're still doing the same thing. So we haven't quite fixed the problem, but we're definitely participating in helping. So first of all, the clubs, the women of the club, or the members, supported a women's hostel. Then they rented a whole house. And in that home, women were living, they worked, they participated. So they rented the house. And after a year, they approached the owner of that house and said, see, nothing happened. We were able to function and make this go. And then they bought that house. Then they moved that house and they kept doing these wonderful things with the housing. In the same time, they were purchasing land. So all of this was being done when it was impossible for a woman to get a mortgage. So they found a way. They found a way to make sure that this club could purchase property. One of the sites they purchased was this one here. It was 3 lots at Cambie and 13th, and they purchased it in 1945. Now, these women fundraised to be able to build this building, and the building opened in 1961. So the original intent was to house women in a safe and affordable environment until things got better in their life. So it was a little bit of a transition. Before that was probably a popular thing to do, but to allow a woman to live safely in a good, comfortable place until things improved in her life, and then she would move on and somebody else would move in. And the location, if we just pop forward there one. So it's like they must have just known what was going to be happening. It couldn't have been in a better spot. So strategically, it's located close to transit. There's a major SkyTrain station, not even 2 blocks away, commercial restaurants. It's close to the hospital. So we've actually had nurses living there while they were going to school. And it's, of course, currently in the Broadway corridor. So that whole area is being redeveloped. And I remember when we had a meeting where we didn't want to wait. Let's just do it. Let's just find a way to do it, not wait for the rest of the neighbors to come on board. So we're pretty excited that we got a great location, and I drive by on my way to work, and it's so exciting just to look up and see it and remember it's beautiful. So we're so spoiled and lucky. Thank you.
Okay. Where are we at here? Okay, so I think the next person we're going to have talk is Janet. If
Yep.
we can
Thank
move
you,
on to
Shari.
that.
Thank you, Shari. And I just feel so honored that we get to be here as a gathering of women and the empowerment that we have when we work together as a team. Nothing happens singly. What happens when we come together is truly, absolutely monumental. So Soroptimist had at one point considered selling the land. We had an aging building. The maintenance costs were getting very high. And we were kind of at that point of, is this an end of life building where we need to do a major renovation, or we could have an option to supply more housing for women in the city? And we all know and we hear about what is going on in terms of not only affordable housing, but housing in general. So we were very fortunate to meet Carla G. We have two Carlas, Carla B and Carla G. I want to designate that. And she was working with Purpose Driven. And it was at a real estate workshop that was exploring all kinds of possibilities in terms of land redevelopment and purposeful housing, something that was grounded in Soroptimist vision and mandate. And again, women and girls, we do have the opportunities to have resources where we can reach full potential, where women can live their dreams. So this intergenerational housing for women was the focus. And as you can see here on the slide, mothers, senior women, workforce women, delivered by this incredible team. So we grounded and created a vision with a focus on delivering this project by a team of women. And I actually consider all of you part of this team. I know that we are here kind of being the stewards of it, but every thought, every intention that goes out into the world around affordable housing by all of you here makes this possible. So just saying. And I think we're going to go on to number 8 here, which is our slide 8. And there were two very, very critical areas of the project vision that made it very, very unique. And closing the glaring gap of housing needs by women by providing affordable housing for these particular women in particular. We wanted to make sure that that occurred, that that happened. And so to deliver this by an interdisciplinary team for all women across all areas of design and development could help to develop the leadership of women in industries that are predominantly male dominated. So this SIV project allowed for the opportunity to expand and improve the lives of women and girls by providing more housing on this site. And it's so exciting that we could bring together women in all of their talents, their strengths, their abilities to be able to have the end result being Soroptimist House. And so this all-women project team was furthering the mandate of what we were attempting to do and eventually manifested. We created so many more jobs for women in leadership. And when we took that first picture down at Soroptimist House with all the women that were participating in the building of this structure, because you know, a house is a house, but a home is a home. And I felt like that's what we were creating here. So later on, you're going to see some photos of these women that are working on the site, on the construction side, but also just the design, all women team to do the architecture. That was really amazing. Just every piece, every part. So just again, there's such a big thank you to everyone for what we have achieved so far and what we will continue to be able to support in the city of Vancouver and beyond.
Great. Thanks, Janet. Lenore, I think you're up next.
Right. I'm looking at all these pictures and these slides, of course, which we've all seen. Those in the team here have seen them many times. And it looks like this just happened really quickly, and it didn't. I just want to emphasize that the first meeting with Carla G was 9 years ago. And then we started talking and talking and talking. And there have been so many meetings, a lot of coffee drank. as we kind of sorted out what we wanted. We had workshops, we had visionary times, and this slide indicates the visions that we came together with. That and we're hoping to maximize these as we move forward with our building. A redevelopment committee was struck. We originally had 4 people. Some of you might recall Karen Brown. She was integral to our vision and to the design. She and I, in particular, were just crazy about those balconies. And I think it's because we were both very curvy women. And anyways, as you may not know, Karen passed away a couple of years ago, but she's still part of this committee and still part of it in our heart. So together we developed our vision, what we were looking for. And every now and then we go back and look at that again to make sure that we are staying true to that vision. So our original Soroptimist House had 21 senior women on limited incomes. Our new one is going to have 135 homes for women, senior women, women-led families, and workforce women. Now, it has been asked of us several times, are men allowed in this building? Of course they are. But the important thing is the women hold the lease because that gives her safety. We want to make, and of course, women come with children. So we're going to have boys and girls in the building, which we're all really excited about, is having children in safe places for children. The homes are going to be delivered at 3 rent levels. We have a deep subsidy level. We have a rent geared to income, which essentially comes to 30% of your income. And then we will also have what's called lower end of the market. So I don't know, those of you who don't know Vancouver, Vancouver's rents and housing situation is pretty dire. So the rents geared to, the lower end of the income will be about 10% less than what is standard across the city. Is there another slide? Thank you. We're in the process right now of hiring a property manager because we're very close to tenancy. Annelise has already talked about the indoor and the outdoor amenities. And I have to tell you, the view is just incredible. Vancouver is a port city. We have mountains all around us and the ocean. And you can see that from the top of our building and from many of the homes. There will be some shared spaces, and the 2 and 3 bedroom homes will have washers and dryers, but otherwise we do also have a shared laundry room. The highlights of our development include the fact that it was very quickly, in terms of government bureaucracy, approved and rezoned. We also received waivers in a number of different fee categories, and we also received a lot of grants in addition to the very big mortgage that we have. And I just want to add, as the treasurer of this building, this redevelopment committee, I have written checks of over $5 million. It just hurts sometimes. And I've got a picture of the biggest check we wrote. And so that's been very exciting to do that. And we can move on. Oh, project funding has been very complex, actually. Van City, which is one of the credit unions that's focused in British Columbia, has been incredibly supportive. BC Housing has also been supportive. We received a grant from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities to make sure that our building was as green as possible. And CMHC, which is the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, also provided funding. So we received grants, a lot of grants, and we also have a really big mortgage, and which we're all also excited about paying off. And I don't know whether Carla will have a chance to mention this, but Carla met one of the women who was present at the burning of the mortgage for the original building, and she's 95 years old now. And so Carla's got a picture of her with that. But I don't know that we'll be around to take pictures of burning the mortgage, but we're excited about it. And so we can go to the next slide. All right, so construction in progress. All of the pink hats you see there, those are all the women. Those are the club members. There's us at the what's it called when you turn the first sod? Anyways,
Groundbreaking.
I knew there was a word. So groundbreaking. You can see in this bottom left corner the view also, and the various forms of the construction as it was underway. I'd like to also remind everybody we'd had pink bathrooms too, just to make sure that the women had their own space. Now, of course, in the construction industry, it is very male dominated, but we were very lucky that we were able to make sure that women were hired for the job as their talents were needed. And Charlie, which is a woman's name, by the way, is one of the 5 women site superintendents in Canada. And she is one of the reasons our project has been so successful and ahead of schedule.
Brilliant.
Barry, can we go back to slide 13?
Sure.
Just a couple of things just to say about that.
Sure.
Yeah. So just a couple of things about that as well is that one of the reasons we chose purpose driven was because they were focused on charitable and nonprofit organizations. But as the owner, Soroptimist contributed to the site, $9 million site, which was a huge significant contribution. And so because of that, the team was able to leverage other financing for the project. So we were able to get key supporters on board because of that. And so as Lenore mentioned, the project funding has been quite complex in that the project funders have been very supportive throughout the project, but there's all these details, and Lenore just so beautifully, worked with those $5 million checks. So again, we want to thank Vancity, BC Housing, and CMHC for their support from very, very early on the project. One of the highlights of this project was securing a BC Housing Community Housing Fund Award. This was an extremely competitive funding call. It went out to everyone that wanted to be able to apply for this. And there were only 40 projects across the region that were awarded, and ours was the largest to secure the funding for this project and for the ultimate completion of the project. So those are just a couple of things to add around, strategy partners and the financing.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Janet. All right. So we have a few minutes for questions about the Soroptimist House project before we move on to the next topic for discussion, which is the second big redevelopment project. So, Darlene, did you, I know that there was maybe some questions in the chat. Was there anything?
I think there was one from the new club, South Delta, just around some of the cuts that were happening with our government. But I think this project is well underway, so I don't know. That was the only one that I noticed.
Okay. If anybody else has a question, if you want to use the raise hand icon on your laptop so that your picture will come to the front of this. Anybody else got any questions? Not right now. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. So, um, I do actually want to know from the Soroptimist team, what lessons learned do you have from this project, from being involved in this? What is something that you really didn't know that you didn't know? Lenore?
Um, I think one thing we learned and are still learning is, of course, that building was occupied. We had women that had been living there for years and years and years. And I think one of the biggest lessons we learned was, although we were very transparent, we had multiple meetings, they were assured housing, we helped them move, all of those things happened. Um, I think I learned that angst of giving up where you've been for so many years, and as a senior and vulnerable and low income, how hard it was for them. It was their home. And even though they are moving back into a beautiful brand new building with an elevator and all of that kind of stuff, it was still a grief process. So I think my lesson was, um, even though the future looked really good, they were living in the present and it was hard.
Mm. That's really powerful. Thank you for that, Lenore. Anybody else? Carla, do you have anything?
I'm just, it's quite funny. Every time I look at this, it's so exciting and it's kind of overwhelming that this is really happening. But one thing that stuck in it's stuck was when we were told that our building, which was affordable housing, was too pretty. It was too nice. It wasn't that if you've been in Vancouver, you see those square buildings with no balconies and they're very obviously affordable housing. But ours set a different tone that yes, you can. And we knew we'd have to fight for those balconies. My whole family's in construction, so I was told right from the beginning that we're going to have to ditch them because they're too expensive. And we fought. So we learned to be stubborn, um, and carefully stubborn. Stick to your mandate, stick to your dream, and look what's happening. It's just amazing. I can't wait. I want to live there.
Governor Shari, one of the questions was if the slides would be provided. I know that we are recording this, but if some of the slides could be shared, I think we want to share this project around the world. So that was one of the questions that I noticed.
I'm going to put that to Annelise. I'm not sure because it's actually purpose driven deck. So
As long as it's all right with the rest of the committee, it's fine with me.
I think some of the
okay.
slides are also on the website as well for SI Vancouver, and I think your own organization as well. So
Some of the photos are, a lot of the photos are, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, we could probably send it out without all the speaking notes with the deck. So yeah.
I'd
Uh,
like to say something, just lessons learned, and
absolutely.
maybe this is just an ongoing lesson for everyone, but early on we did keep the redevelopment team smallish because so many decisions had to be made. Yet we were constantly updating communication around this. So the communication flow is extremely important when you're going into a project like this. So you do have that smaller team, but then they're reaching out to the bigger circle, just updating them as things occur, and also that any messaging that is being delivered, that it be really secure in the information that's being delivered, because you want to make sure that there's no miscommunication that happens. So early on, and it was both Lenore and Carla mentioned this, is you're meeting with those tenants who are in that building, but to keep them updated, like the Zoom meetings, just to ensure that they were comfortable with all the changes, the relocation team. And a word and a term that I learned at Housing Central, the big conference that happened in the fall last year, was that it's very important to bundle. And when they started explaining that term, and I was in small group sessions, I realized that we had been bundling all along. And bundling is where you find your team. Like, don't try to be the expert in, delivering affordable housing when that's not your expertise, but rather to find those individuals who can support a project being delivered. And so that's why it was extremely important to have a team like Purpose Driven who knew the places that you needed to go for every stage of the project. So and it was quite lovely to be in those small sessions when people who were just starting out with their project and we had already done all of the things that they were saying you needed to do. Like it was just this, I was so grateful and I felt such gratitude in my heart that, at the time we didn't know how important that was, but boy, that was critical. And so, yeah, communication and having the team working together was really important. So,
Brilliant. Thank you. So we're going to move on because we're not done yet. SI Vancouver has a second property that they co-own with the Kiwanis Club of Vancouver. So, Carla, would you like to start off by telling us a bit about this exciting new redevelopment opportunity?
Absolutely. Surprise, we're not finished. We have more to do. Um, so currently, as this is the building, this is where we're going, or this is where we are right now. It is a 90 suite structure, so 90 affordable homes for low-income seniors on a piece of property. Oh my goodness, it looks so different with all the trees from above. It's almost 2 acres. So we have a nice piece of property with 90 little suites in a low rise. Um, and we joined with the Kiwanis Club, and we're still working on the exact story because there's little variations that we have. But we have a building, because of what's happening around, there's also a lot of structural damage happening. So in addition to the aging building, where we're constantly spending $10,000 to $20,000 on plumbing issues, there was an opportunity to do a redevelopment. And we used the experience that we had with 13th and Cambie as a step in. We were so knowledgeable. And basically what really happened is it was our turn to share the board. We do Kiwanis does a couple of years and then Soroptimist. And I told them the only way I'm stepping in as the chair is if we put redevelopment on the agenda. And I was very surprised to see all of the Kiwanis members say, yeah, we should do that. And it's like, I've been saying this for 20 years. So again, they finally listened to that encouragement, and we are going to redevelop this site.
Brilliant.
Pop it
Brilliant.
forward. So you just saw what it looks like right now. This is the vision. Like I just go back one and come back into this one. And this is the vision for that just about 2 acre site. It's unbelievable what we can do when they let us move up into the sky. So a little bit of background. The Kiwanis Club and Soroptimist Club formed a society. And as a little trick, that's what the members did at SIV. So Soroptimist International of Vancouver, when they formed that society, the society purchased the property. It doesn't say whether you're male or female. They found a way. Those good women. So in the 70s, they created the society, and each organization has been providing housing. Kiwanis does an amazing job in Vancouver with their buildings, which is a blessing because, again, as Lenore mentioned, we have people living in that building that will have to be moving out. And we're lucky that we've got the Kiwanis with their buildings to help in that process. So the original mission was to own this building and provide seniors housing, low income, forever and ever. And really, it until they started building around, nobody was really thinking about redevelopment. But as soon as the first tower went up, that was, I think, 25 stories, we started thinking about what we could do with that property. So we have Oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing because we're taking the family, the seniors, the workforce people, again, as we did it at 13th, and putting it into a bigger organization, putting it into a bigger space. And I won't say how many suites because I think that's going to come up in Janet's slide. It might be in mine later on, but we will take it from there. So Janet, would you like to talk a bit more about what we're going to do?
Oh my goodness. This is this is truly monumental. Um, so Southwynd Place redevelopment is going to be Western Canada's largest social housing, nonprofit-led, mixed income, affordable rental community. That's a mouthful. And we are just so ecstatic that something like this could not only be moving forward, but to have the blessing of the city of Vancouver, which just recently happened about a week and a half ago. They are excited as all heck. And it is designed to foster intergenerational living among seniors, families, and young professionals. And the facility that are building will be centered on resident wellness, and we have a master plan development that will remain nonprofit owned in perpetuity. And it will set the highest and newest standard for inclusive community-driven housing. So there are so many things that I could say about this space. And when you walk onto the site of Southwynd Place now and you look at what is there now, and then you envision and see what is being created in this moment, it's truly it's spectacular. So when completed, this entire site is going to deliver 903 rental homes meant for three target populations. The first are seniors living independently, then people in the workplace, and families. So this intergenerational approach is key to this project at Southwynd. And I'm reminded of a wonderful quote that I think I learned in high school, actually, by Margaret Mead, our wonderful woman anthropologist, and so much more, said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. And indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And I recall that in my own mind, hearing that as a teenager, and now here we are, this thoughtful, incredible project. So, of the 903 rental homes, 30% will be offered below market. That is to say, below housing income limits, and 70% will be offered as market rental rates. That is to say, at or above housing income limits. So, in addition, 30% of these units will be family units. And goodness knows we need family units in the city of Vancouver in particular. And I am amazed to be looking at the chat here and seeing where people have come from in this conversation. We've got people from Kenya, we've got people from Seattle, we've got people from Wales, and I'm thinking, if we can do this in Vancouver, what are the possibilities for all communities worldwide? So exciting. So we are delivering this, and now I'm gonna move the next piece on to Carla, who's gonna say a few more things.
Gonna unmute. There we go. Yes, it is exciting. We're we're very proud, and it's a royal we of everyone here and everyone around us. This project is the largest project of its kind owned by a not-for-profit organization in the history of not only the city of Vancouver, not only Western Canada, but across Canada. So we did an amazing thing with Soroptimist House where we fought for curves and did something different and said you can have a beautiful, affordable housing suite. And here we are again doing it in a bigger community. So 8080 Yukon is going to become a community of many, and it's exciting. And again, I want to live there. Like that's one thing that we did say is we want to build a building where we'd want to live. So that's part of it too, is that to build a building that we'd be proud to live in as well. So the project itself has already hit some targets. Janet mentioned it, that we had unanimous approval at the City of Vancouver Urban Design Panel in spring of 2025. Positive feedback during our open house, spring of 2025. Now, did you notice that that's only a year ago? Like we're kind of like zooming along here. Like, yes, it does take long, but it also happens very fast. We've secured $12 million in pre-construction financing, and there's nothing better than driving down the road, talking to a bank saying, yeah, go for it. Like I know what I'm doing. Go for it. Get that loan in place. And again, as Janet mentioned, we received unanimous City of Vancouver Mayor and Council rezoning approval on February 5th of 2026. So this building is going to happen. It's moving forward. And with the rents, one of the city councilors asked if we were able to get more funding, whether it be public funding or grants or however it is, the more funding that we can bring in, that increases the number of suites we can offer at an affordable or lower rate. So that's one of our goals. We're not going to sell cookies. We're going to find other ways to get that funding in so that we can offer even more homes at an affordable or less than the Vancouver rate of rent. Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
I'm so excited.
So, do we have any final thoughts on the project impacts? Carla, Janet, Lenore, anybody?
I'd just like to read, have you read some of the comments, bringing people into this conversation of what and how they have felt about this presentation. That's the impact.
Brilliant.
Well, I the two things I'd like to bring up is that we do have people living in that building, and much like we learned with Soroptimist House, we are being as transparent as possible, and we're really, really lucky that we've learned so much from our first project, and that Purpose Driven is like right by our side. They are also our development company for this project. And so we're able to continue to have lots and lots of conversations. We had a Valentine's Day party at the building, and many of the residents came. And so we're able to alleviate as much of the stress as we can, but we do understand that there is stress. And I had a second point, which of course I've completely forgotten. Oh, I know. Somebody asked way earlier in the chat about our province just made a budget announcement and how that is going to impact on our project. And I'm not really quite sure yet. I just know that the big checks will be coming out eventually. Carly, we haven't as of yet had a meeting to discuss the budget cuts and what they will mean to us. I don't know whether Annelise can speak to that. But remember, we've already got the pre-approval funding, that we've got our drawings and everything like that, and we can always go private.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Janet was asking about some of the comments that are here. So just a few things I wanted to say. Soroptimist International of America's president, Sue Riney, said, "What a blessing club members had the courage, foresight, and means to hold on to this property when times became more difficult to do so. The SI Seattle Met Club had a real estate project in the 1930s, purchasing homes for widows with children, since, as you said, women were not allowed to have mortgages at that time. The women made payments to the club within their means until they could pay off the purchase amount, $1,500 to $4,200 at the time. Their project only lasted 19 years, however, due to the rising costs of real estate. So, yeah, just amazing that this was able to continue on.
And can I ask a follow-up question about that for SI Vancouver? I think, Carla, you mentioned something early on about when times got tough and you kept on going. And I'm wondering if any of you have insights into what was fostered within the club to generate such chutzpah, such grit to stick with this. And I'm anticipating you're still generating that kind of level of energy and inspiration to keep at this. What lessons from that whole process, not the project itself, but the size and scope of the project, would you suggest so that rest of us can pursue such audacious goals?
The first word that popped into my head was stubborn. We're a bunch of stubborn women. We can do this, and there's a barrier, and we're going to find a way to knock it down. And the second part would be honoring those women. I was part of the club when we were considering selling. So it's quite a long time ago, but it was like, should we sell it? And as my dad was yelling in the background, sell it. Let somebody else take this project on. It was a big, do we sell and let someone else have it, or do we keep going? And it was a tough call because the club was 50-50 split. So being stubborn and finding a way to honor those women, and what an amazing, like, it's our 100th anniversary this year, and this will open in our 100th year. So I think that's sort of a part behind us. Like, they're all behind us saying, you can do this. Just, keep gritting your teeth. And that's where I went, was stubborn and joyous.
I also wanted to say that this idea of the continuity of care, and that's more of a health term, and I use it a lot in the field of work that I'm in. But the continuity of care is about the caring of the club, the harmony that is necessary within any organization and in volunteer organizations, that people have a voice, that you are continuing to hear what needs to be heard, and that you put your listening ears on and listen to what everyone in the group is contributing. And yet, as Carla said, and I think Lenore would agree as well, that you have to make decisions, and you have to make those decisions throughout the project. And so you have a lot of meetings, and I think this particular redevelopment team has been extremely committed to to this project, and I think that is important. And we have someone on right now who's our newest member. I don't know if Sophie has anything that she wanted to say about why she wanted to join this club, but our club is growing. And to me, that is a sign of just that people want to be part of something that is truly making a difference in the lives of women and girls.
I'd like to say something, Janet, if I may.
Yes.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name's Sophie, and I'm a very new member just this last month. And I must say, I was introduced to the club by Janet. She's a friend of mine, and I'm so honored and very grateful to be part of this incredible organization. Like, I want to cry. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, like, these women are absolutely amazing. And I feel that I've come to this at a good time in my life. I'm in my 60s, and I just feel that what you offer women, young women, senior women, women with families, is such an invaluable gift. And I'm truly honored, and I'm so excited to participate as much as I can and help these projects and future projects come to fruition and be as as helpful as possible. I just want to say I'm honored, and all of you are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm very excited.
Thanks, Sophie. Amazing. Lenore, did you want to say anything?
Okay, I'll think of something. I didn't actually have anything. It just my brain was worrying away. But thank you, Sophie. That was so sweet, and it was so nice to meet you the other day. And no, I don't really have anything, so I'm just rambling.
Okay, thanks. Annelise, do you have anything that you'd like to say to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think from obviously a slightly outside perspective in terms of SI Vancouver and the amazing committee here, I do think like stubborn tenacity is a big part of it. But I think it's also the values, right, that are driving the club, and it's so apparent in every discussion, every interaction that I have with these wonderful women and the rest of the club as well. I think being able to hold up the values of SI Vancouver and the broader Soroptimist mission and values, and translate that into, what we're all working towards when we're talking about committee decisions, minute decisions about design and things like that. Being able to hold those values up in all of those discussions is huge. And I think this group was also very, very good at reminding each other of those values and what we're all working towards at those points when you get a bit, maybe low or there's challenges, right? And you're trying to work through things. That was to me, like that stood out a lot during my opportunity to work with this group over the last 6 or 7 years. Was really just, they helped lift me up as well as we face challenges. So yeah, that's what I would share.
Amazing. Oh,
I remembered what I
okay.
wanted to say is as news about our Soroptimist House has been put out into the public over the last couple of years, I just want you to know that we've got a waiting list to get in.
Yeah.
I could fill that building twice right
Yeah.
now,
Me too.
just from interest.
Yeah.
I can believe it. Yes, Janet?
I just wanted to say, I think the importance of these friendship calls are critical in our organization, and I really support us moving forward to having more of these friendship calls. And here's a couple of quotes, because we've started this in our club, that we start our meeting now with a quote by a woman. And so here's one. Each new friendship can make you a new person because it opens up new doors inside of you. And the second one is, it's really important to have a friend, but a friend with chocolate is even better. Just for fun.
Thanks so much, Janet. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I'm just gonna bring Darlene Jameson back on here to tell us a little bit about what's coming up.
Yeah. Well, one of the comments was actually about our upcoming Western Canada Conference, which will be in Vancouver or next door, which is Richmond, where the airport is and close to the ferry. So April 23rd to 26th is our Western Canada Conference, and there'll be something coming out. I know that some of the attendees on the call from around the world have attended, and certainly our neighbors to the south. So perhaps you might want to join us for our Western Canada Conference or come and visit. A number of the attendees have actually been some of our past visitors from different parts of the world, from Nigeria, from Southeast Asia Pacific and Kenya and Germany, Great Britain, and Ireland. So hopefully you will join us. And some of the attendees are also our friendship links. Some of them have started off as visiting, and I know that Emmy from Germany is coming to Canada. And again, this is our 13th call. The first one was January 29th. And we had Kate Moore from the chat line, and also Hillary with the friendship pins. But more importantly, it was just a short time before the war in Ukraine. And I think that, again, we've had a number of amazing friendship calls. Janet, I liked your quote. Perhaps you can share that quote around friendship. And we are having our next call sometime in May, late May or June. And this call came about in part because we asked for feedback from our past attendees. That was on the virtual career library. And this was one of the calls. And what an important call that we had, particularly recognizing 100 years of Soroptimist in Vancouver and at the first club in Canada as well. So I really want to thank the amazing presentation by Soroptimist Vancouver and Annelise and Purpose Driven. It's such an amazing project. And I had the opportunity to visit it the other day when I was in Vancouver, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to your grand opening. And if you have any questions, you can contact us through wcsoroptimist.org, our Western Canada site, and you can see all of the clubs. So thank you so much. And Governor Shari, I think we sometimes allow some time to visit just after the call. So hopefully we can keep the call open. And again, the call was recorded. Some of our past calls are also on our YouTube channel, and we'll have the link as well. And thank you to all of our friends and visiting Soroptimists from around. This is sharing Soroptimist stories through friendship.
Thank you so much, Darlene. So just piggybacking on what Darlene said, everybody who registered for this call will get an email after this that will have the link to our to the YouTube recording of this call. I will also send out the slide deck for people who want to have it as well. Yeah, so just so that everybody's aware that those will go out to everybody who registered for the call, including the people who couldn't make it today. And I am going to, yeah, I'll take the spotlight off of our panelists, and then if anybody wants to just stick around for a minute and maybe talk about where you're from and other projects that you're doing. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Annelise. Thank you to all of our panelists. It was delightful and just so informative and really inspiring and empowering. So thank you all so much.
And please share and come and visit. Not all
Yes,
at once, though.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for doing this. It's quite interesting to see it from what we just did. It is so exciting. Like, I mean, I'm excited anyway, but this just makes it more real. Every time we talk about it, it's one step closer to opening that door. And we're going to have more than one celebration. So hopefully you'll be able to come, whether you're visiting from another country or you're just down the road.
Yes.
Any excuse to celebrate 100 years and a new building will
Specifically at conference on the Friday night will be a big celebration of SI Vancouver and 100 years of Soroptimist in Canada. So yeah, if anybody who's on this call, the call to conference is actually scheduled to go out today. And so again, you can, if you're not from Western Canada Region and you want to reach out, you can reach us through our website, wcsoroptimist.org, and we can arrange to send you a copy of the call to conference as well. It is going out to the governor of Eastern Canada Region because we have specifically invited members from Eastern Canada Region to come. So that's a thing as well. So we're putting out the call to anybody who would like to join us. So again, thanks so much.
There's still a lot of people on the call.
Yeah, that's
30.
great.
Yeah.
And we had 90 that registered, and at our peak was 55, so that was pretty good.
Indeed. There we are. Oh,
Hello.
Catherine. Catherine, it looks like you wanted to say something.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. This is just incredible. It's absolutely wonderful. Some of you were on calls with me from SI Oakland for a couple of years as I've tried to broaden our perspectives and hold a conference that just brought in 90 people from all over the world, Soroptimists. But what I wanted to bring up in this particular case was thinking about how we could build on our knowledge and our expertise. Maybe that could be a big help. For instance, the things that came to mind to me is I was on the board of Habitat for Humanity, one of the largest clubs in the United States, for over 15 years, and they had a women build. So just like what was mentioned in the talk, women built these houses. So there is that's one opportunity for an alliance. So as you were talking about all making these connections with other groups, I was mindful that I should go talk to the director today and find out, do they have any resources? Do they have any expertise? Are they working on any projects? We have a few clubs in the United States, so maybe we can start having the broader, and it's a worldwide organization. So I wondered if there was a way for those of us who have some resources to just maybe get together and powwow about that. The other one is that there's a new, very sustainable model called Roots, ROOTS, and it is funded by a combination of investors and by the people who are actually living there themselves. A very interesting new model where they gain equity by taking care of their property, by paying on time, and investors are pouring in. And this is around Atlanta. And I know the director. I'm a financial advisor. This is so new that the financial world won't even let me speak about this outside of my own personal domain. But I've watched it and I've looked at it, and it's reviewed as a sound concept. So I was excited to get the president of that organization to just talk with you guys, to talk with us.
Brilliant.
Does that make sense? And the only other third one I just wanted to throw out there, and it's for anybody who wants to talk to me about it. I am a project manager, and I teach project management in about 4 different programs, college level programs. And so project management is such a key to all of this that it made sense to me that we could maybe do something about how one sets up. And I have been asked by a number of clubs all over the world, how can we organize our projects so that we're reportable, accountable, and we can do what you have done, obviously very successfully, and know how to do. So I was just told recently and had to that my college is doing a huge layoff, and all of the senior teachers are going, almost all the senior teachers. So I've spent the last month scrambling to see what I do next. And I think now I've come to an idea that I will have more time available. So that will be something that I can continue to contribute. Some of you know that we have a television program station at Chabot College, and it goes all over the world. And so any kind of movie, and I'm working on a kind of a set of movies and things that we can offer to Soroptimist Club so that they can use them for their fundraising and their empowerment. So those were just 3 things that I just wanted to mention because my meeting today, my teaching, I was supposed to be teaching all day today, and it was canceled at the last minute. And I went, oh, good, I can come to this. And here I am.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Catherine. Really appreciate it.
Well, and anybody who wants to write to me, I now can actually write back because I have time. So, all right. Thank
Catherine,
you.
you might want to put your contact information in the chat.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Darlene. I'm sorry. You're one of the ones I need to talk to. Let me go into the group chat, and it's
Okay, Suzanne Heron, I think you got your hand up.
I do. I was just noticing in the chat, at least two clubs said that they had projects, they had housing projects, but then had to kind of give them up for dwindling finances, maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. So that just piques my interest. I wonder how many other clubs around the world have housing, have land, and and what learning we could you could impart that would prevent them from having to, you know, give it up. So that's just a question. But yeah, is there a way? Is there a way? A network of Soroptimist housing projects and clubs and sharing information and ideas and expertise. And I love Catherine's idea.
Well, it's a new model. It's a model that I've been vetting for about 2 or 3 years. It's now I had to get some of my clients in my financial services practice to go in because they were dedicated to this concept, but I could not get formal approval within the standard organizational framework. And they are reporting very good luck. And I want people to see this. So if I can get the names of those people, I'm not seeing them in the chat, but I would be happy to send everybody a link to this organization because it's inspiring.
And actually, that reminds me, Catherine, there is there's an organization, a network, I guess, of women here. Well, started in Victoria, and some of you Western Canada folks will remember Liza, who came to our 2024 conference as one of our sponsors and speakers around sponsorship, and she has started a network of women in real estate investing, and who knows, they might be interested in
Is that
projects
what
like
it's
this.
called? Is that what it's called? Women in Real Estate
Oh
Investing?
no, it's got a great acronym. I'll find it and send it to you.
Send it to me.
Um, and and the other thing that I just wanted to mention is on project management. We had we have a three-part series on project management on the YouTube channel of the Western Canada region, and it was done by the amazing, like, she's forgotten more about project management than any of us will ever know, from us from Southeast Asia Pacific, and my mind is blanked on her name, but she's incredible, and the information in those workshops is incredible. So
You said it's on YouTube.
I'll send you
It's
the
a bit.
link.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Carla has something to say.
The money is a big part of it. So I mentioned that the club members bought other property. They had a site that by the time they raised the funds, because these women did this, there was no sponsorship. This was, really selling pudding and cookies and whatever they could do. They had raised the money to build this next site, and the cost of building had gone up so much that they couldn't do it. So they actually sold the property to the Lions Club for $1 with the string attached that they would build a seniors housing complex, and they did. So they did find a way to still get what they wanted to do, but they realized that without that extra money, and they were exhausted, they were tired of fundraising. So there's a key. If we can find those funders, and oh my goodness, could you imagine if a whole group of women said, let's invest X number of dollars in this property and down the road we build this beautiful building? It can happen. I think being stubborn to not sell was a big part of it, but I mean, you get tired, right? So, and I mean, you look at the burnout in our little trio of we're going to keep going, we're going to keep doing this. But if we could have access to different funds, that would make a huge difference. And I know everyone's talking about building affordable housing, we can't afford to build affordable housing in Vancouver without help because it isn't affordable. The cost of building is just not doable. So I like the ideas of finding other ways to get those funds in. And yeah, our mortgage is huge, and you never know. Maybe we will be around to burn that mortgage because magic happens every day. But yeah, we need to find the money somehow.
Thank you. It's very true. Very true. I mean, it still amazes me that what you've already accomplished and where you're going with it is it's nothing short of remarkable. It really isn't. Yeah. So, all right, folks. I think it's 11:22, and I think I'm going to call it. And I'm going to wish all of you a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime. And we hope to see you at our next Sharing Soroptimist Stories. Thank you so, so much. Take care, everybody.